Listen, this is genuinely our first catch up in probably 6 months. So let's start with what a year that you've had. Yeah. So let's start with that. I'll let you run with it.
Sweet, yeah. So obviously, what year are we in? 2023. 2023. So obviously, me and George, we go way back from when we were babies. But this year, if you don't know me, I'm one of George's best mates, an actor. Been acting for how long now? Like forever. Acting forever. In a bigger show in London at the moment. And then I thought, why not do a show? Not a show, a bodybuilding show, a physique show. And entered a physique show because I didn't want to just do that. I didn't want to just do a show. Like, we were both very like goal setting, aren't we? Like very much like having something to go for and stuff. And being an actor, like I was like, oh, I'm actually at like the peak of what theatre wise right now. And I was like, I'll get into a physique show. So stupidly signed up with 10 weeks to get prepped by myself. Luckily had you on board in the last few weeks just to be like, help me. And yeah, jumped on that. Did a photo shoot as well during it, but yeah, photo shoot and men's physique, natural WNBF it was. And then yes, from that, got the urge to then grow the business with my missus, Alice, who's a legend, and we're doing the coaching pod now, which is online coaching, but more aimed at like actors and people in England and that around London area. So it's been a busy year, and it's still, 4 months to go?
It has. And listen, so from the off, the little brief introduction to me and Perry. So me and Perry have known each other literally since we were 2 days old.
Yeah.
Literally 2 days old. And
mums were next to each other on the hospital bed.
Literally, yeah, we were. And then being best friends all the way through school. Yeah. And listen, I've always been nothing but inspired by Perry's work ethic. He left home when we were young, went away. He worked several jobs. He studied. He acted. He did all the things that were nothing shy of inspirational to me. I then went down the line, obviously bodybuilding, and now unfortunately you've taken that from me as well. So
not at all, nowhere near.
I had a thing,
but I think that's the beauty of our relationship, that it's always been like inspired by each other for things. It's like I would like always feel like so inspired of what you're doing with your career, which is probably why I not jumped on. But I feel like in life you get a crossroads, and seeing like a mate be very, very influential like yourself and like really motivated in business and in physique and like a fit and healthy lifestyle. It's like, well, especially as an actor, you can either be fit and healthy, or you can go down the path of going out every night, getting smashed, like not really looking after yourself, and being influenced like by having close mates like you is why that's probably happened.
I think that's why, to be honest with you, like you said, we just sort of bounce off each other the way we do. Literally, we haven't seen each other for 6 to 8 months now. This is the first time we've caught up, not even a minute or so prior to this, but it's allowed us to, you know, you are a product of your environment in terms of the people you catch up with. So we've obviously, over the years, as you do, when you grow up, you lose friends, you know, but our relationship's held as strong as it has because, again, our values align. And I think in terms of the work ethic that we have towards whatever our passion may be is something that we can discuss and chat about. I mean, friends probably talk about other things, but it's like, oh, you know, how you doing, how you winning, you know, it's cool to kind of bounce off that. And it's refreshing. And I think that in itself, people, I think, should definitely take on board as is you're a product of your surroundings, I think, which is huge. But
absolutely.
I think in terms of obviously the show you did this year was massive and amazing, and you looked incredible, and I was proud of it. It was nice to sit back and watch because I know it was something that was out of your comfort zone. You prepped yourself, which is crazy, which you said to me at the time allowed you to kind of further educate yourself. Now you're kind of taking on the business. But in terms of like the goal itself, I want to have a little look at kind of where that led. So obviously I want to talk about a number of things with you, to be honest, because again, I think a lot of people will take away from. So you're someone who lives an incredibly busy life. You're a successful active. You know, you kind of then you've got a busy job, you've got a busy life. You're in a top show in London, and then you take on board the responsibilities of a bodybuilding show, which is cool. So how did that look for you on a day-to-day basis? How are you able to manage? Because one of the things I definitely come across a lot when I have discussions with people is time management, and the fact that they can't seem to do things due to the fact that life's busy, but you've obviously then taken that and ran with it. What was the motivation in that as well, you know?
It's hard. What it did for me personally, and I don't want to be like, come across a bit like go hard or go home or anything like that, but it makes you go, well, there's literally no excuses in a way. So I used to not only do I be in a show, but I also work in a gym in London that is like class-based style. So I go teach there as well. So sometimes in the day I'll wake up 4:30, teach 3 classes, do what I need to do in the day, then go work at 6 at night, and then go home 11:30. Bit like you're up. Like
yeah, no, we'll discuss that in a minute, because I think the benefits of prep, like I said, in terms of how much it complements other aspects of life, is huge. And I will go on to that another way, but I'll let you finish.
But time management, I just think you either do it or you don't, and you have to. I think if you're struggling with time management, like, think of little things like, how long are you on your phone? How much do you sit in? Like, before the show, there would be some days where I'd like watch 2 or 3 episodes of something. Them 2 or 3 episodes I'd watch on Netflix went out the window because I had to get on the stepper, or I'd walk down to Blackheath Station instead of getting the bus to get them extra steps in and stuff like that. Like, the things that didn't really matter, like luxury, well, not they don't matter. It's hard not to sound like...
No, agreed. Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, agreed.
But I feel like...
Don't hear sort of preaching to the choir.
But the sacrifices you have to make, but them sacrifices feel nice. It feels sometimes to be like, I love the fact that I'm taking this little like comfort thing away, because the goal's going to feel better if I hit it, because I can always go back to that. I can always go back to scrolling on my phone on Instagram after this period's done. I can always go back to, watching whatever's new on Netflix, or go back to seeing that mate at the pub on a Friday night for a drink. I can go back to it after I've hit my goal.
Agreed. But it's nice to have you here to kind of show another prime example, again, because I don't want to come on here and sort of say how much I do, etc., etc.
Yeah.
A prime example of what can be done and when can be achieved, because the amount of people I speak to often will discuss their limitations, whether it be, and this is important to me, I think it's where you kind of pass your power almost, or give your power. So for people who are, again, we have these conversations all the time, we'll discuss their limitations, whether it be time, whether it be people being limited. I haven't got time. Or my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my family, my friends won't allow me to do these kind of things. You're now actually giving the power to them. And I think circumstances, unfortunately, people give their power to circumstances, and you've obviously taken the power back upon yourself to do the things that you want to do, which I think is incredibly important. And unfortunately, people are so quick to pass power to other people. So it's kind of addressing that and understanding that, and ensuring that the power comes back to you.
The people one's an amazing one, actually, that you brought up, because there's been in situations where I actually have wanted to do it in the past, but the people around me have not let me feel like I could or can, or not supported. But as soon as, obviously, you've just met my Mrs. Alice, I felt like I could do everything and anything because of like her. Well, I remember we were on South Bank in London, and I was like, I want to do something else other than the show this year. And I was like, maybe I should do a show, bodybuilding. And then she was like, there was one 10 weeks or September, and I was like, 10 weeks is not a lot of time. She was like, you can do it. You can do it. And I was like, you sure? Like, it's going to be hard work. Like, I'm probably going to change mood-wise and everything. She was like, I don't care. I'll be there for you. You can do it. And that passing the power and the people around you, like, there's no way I could have done it without her. And I think that's a big thing that you're saying about people. But even listening to you there,
what I see the difference being is that belief that's been instilled.
Yeah.
So therefore, there's a kind of a couple of phrases that you hear. It's like be, do, get, I think. So initially it's like, again, it comes down to how people would identify themselves. It's like, I had this conversation with someone before where, if you identify yourself as someone who is lazy, you're probably going to be lazy. If you identify as someone who's always late, you're probably going to be late, because that's the way that you've identified yourself. And that comes down to a lack of belief. And I think from a start perspective, that's where you have to be. So you have to be the person who's going to do the things that you say you're going to do. Then you go out and then you work on the systems and processes to get you to where you want to be. Therefore, that creates the outcome. So I think what's more important to me, and this is something that I'm big on and working back with my clients, because one thing we always worked on was a goal. And in retrospect, I think now, speaking to more people and the more I'm experienced, I realize that that's not the thing that we should be working on. Like I said, it's kind of be, do, get, for example, use those phrases, but it's a case of, it is how you identify yourself first and foremost. Who is it you want to be? And it's funny, there's a kind of thing that you can do, and it's something that I heard. It's like, if you're in a situation, what would someone do? Say you want to be an IFBB bodybuilder, or you want to be, what would an IFBB bodybuilder do in this situation? It's continuously asking yourself those kind of questions.
You read that Atomic Habits?
Yeah.
So that's exactly, James, it's amazing.
So it is actually from like James Clear, it's like the identity. So again, if you identify someone as someone who's going to do something, you're going to do it. And that, I think, is the biggest limiting factor that I see, is people's lack of belief in themselves. again, I speak to people all the time within work and what we do in our business, and they're like, I can't do that because I can't do that because I haven't got time, or I'm just not good in the gym. And it's like, well, that's their limiting belief, which therefore doesn't allow them to do so.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that happens, and that's obviously, I would say, our job to educate them to be. And I think the more and more you repeat the kind of actions that need to be that person, keep reminding yourself of who you need to be, repeating those actions of getting into the gym, getting better in the gym, therefore obviously your belief begins to grow, your confidence begins to grow. But it's almost like the chicken and the egg. It's like, who comes first? It's like having to do the actions first and foremost, which then will instill the confidence, instill the belief to then believe you're the person that you want to be. But again, it's like, well, if I'm not the person that can do that, it's super, super difficult. So I think for me, that's incredibly important. And again, I go back to kind of the goal side of stuff, because again, I always worked towards goals. It was just kind of a thing. It creates urgency, and they have their place and they have their time. They are great to start with because they create a direction. I'm getting ready for a photo shoot, I'm getting ready for a wedding, I'm getting for a holiday, whatever. It creates, like I say, direction, which is cool. But what I've come to learn, like I say, in retrospect later in life, is that it's not, the goals unfortunately come and go. I think what's more important is the systems and the process, and this is what I work on every single day, the systems and the process that get you there. Firstly, believe this is who I am, this is who I'm going to be. But now let's work on the systems and the processes that get me there, because at a time when you achieve, say the goal's a six-pack, and then you get to a six-pack, you become complacent because the goal's achieved and it's gone. Secondly to that, if you're working towards a photo shoot, and I see this all the time, and this is something that I've been guilty of doing in the past, is again driving clients towards a goal, then sort of post the goal, you see post-show blues, you see post-shoot blues.
They lose that, like...
Exactly, so what they do is they'll fall off, which we see out all the time. But whereas, so one thing I'm very, very big on is, again, the systems and the process that get us to create the outcome. These things never die, you never kind of run out of these. When we get to the photo shoot, that's gone. What next? Cool. Well, I can actually go back into my vault of working on what gets me to where I want to be, and this never dies, because what I tend to do, and I talk about it all the time, because again, I read books, Atomic Habits. I read a book called Buy Back Your Time. I audit my days. As sad as it is, I audit my days. And when I first did it, it was every 15 minutes I would write in my calendar exactly what I was doing. I was on the toilet, I was talking to someone in the gym on the way out of the gym, I was in the car. I audit it every 15 minutes, and it quite clearly, like you said, shows you where you're scrolling, where you're Netflixing, where you're doing whatever. And then again, mine was down to like productivity of work. I was like, I needed to, and I can kind of ramble on. I'm going to digress a million times in this conversation, which I'm sure you will. Had a coffee. But it's a case of, so I learned quite quickly, like, as yourself, as someone who had to time manage, how I managed to prep for a show, had a job, had a second job, and was setting up a business. So in terms of productivity, you have to be on it. So in terms of what I'm doing now is, like I say, is I'm looking back at the things that I'm looking through the day, auditing my time. And again, it could be, so I've got like a morning routine at the moment. It flickers between what is productive, what is efficient, what is not. At the moment, I get up in the morning. Again, I'm not going to hit. I get up at 3:30. Fine, that's cool. I've always done that. That's not me being a saint. I go to bed at 8:30, so my day is normal. Just move that way. So when people tell me I'm super dedicated, I'm like, well, I actually still go to bed at 8:30. Don't worry about it. So then what I do is I get up. I go for my walk. I get up and I can talk about things all the time, because I love this sort of stuff. I'm super passionate about it, as you can tell. Because it's about combining habits, and again, James Clear, Atomic Habits. I can talk about it all the time.
Unbelievable.
But I'll get up. I'll go for my walk. Prior to that, I was like, I need to have an hour in the morning to kind of chill out, set myself for the day. I was more productive when I got home, because I'd allow myself some free time off social media, off all these things. Then I was like, no, I'm up for an hour. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to start to answer messages. Then I get home. I've got more time to do other things. So anyway, I sort of audit the day, see what works, see what doesn't work, and I can continuously tweak and improve that, because I look at that yesterday, how did that go? Okay, well actually at 8:30 maybe I'd burnt out a little bit, and I started to look at my phone, or I started to go on social media, I started to watch YouTube, I've stopped doing all that thing. So that never ever ends. I can continuously work on this forever, whereas the outcome comes and goes. So in a long-winded way of saying things, if you continuously work on the systems and process, and again, that was never ever what I did when I grew up. I wanted to have a six-pack. That's all I ever wanted, because I was a fat kid. Fine. But then now I always say to people now, I will be in shape forever, touch wood, bar an injury, because I do all these things now by accident. I'm so focused on here that the outcomes are relevant. I will achieve the outcome because I'm so focused, busy on here.
And that we're trying to do that with our setup of our clients now, about talk about data and stuff, how important data is, because that is going to Impact.
But do you not think, and again, do you not think no one gives a shit about the data?
Data's not sexy. They don't. No, but it's that is the stuff that is so important for that. It is like, I'm like, the amount of data, it like, be so specific with your sleep, your thing, and training and everything, because that is going to imply, like, so you can see what the, like, say the problems are. It's like reverse engineering all the time.
100%.
And it's so good to know, like, if you're like, oh, why was my training session so shit? Well, it's because I had 4 hours sleep. Oh, well then I know what's like, and it's so simple.
Yep.
It's so simple.
Something you said to me years ago, and it sticks with me. Don't worry, don't panic. It's PG. Anything that can be measured can be managed. You said that to me years ago.
And it is.
Years ago, it's true.
Yeah.
But like you say, if I tell someone, oh, we can reverse engineer. So you're right, listen,
Yeah.
I am so obsessed with my training that, and again, this is back to like systems in the process. I'm so obsessed with one more rep on the hat, got 1 more kilo. I know that sounds crazy, but that ruins both mine and Lauren's week if it doesn't go to plan. But like, I ensure that my nutrition's on point, that my sleep's on point, my hydration's on point. If Lauren wants to go for a walk the night before, sorry, Lauren, I've got a hat squat tomorrow or whatever. I'm so on point. So as a byproduct of me being so obsessed and focused on my training being good, I've ticked all these boxes. As a byproduct of all the above, my physique should look okay. Yeah. But it's not from me driving for the outcome, wanting the outcome. But like you say, in terms of the data that it's supervision, I don't even want to use the word data because that is boring to people. And if you try and say to someone at the start of their journey, let's have a look at some data, and it's just not sexy. If I just say 6-pack and shredded and whatever, that's what they want. And unfortunately, again, listen, we've both been in that position, I'm sure, where I'm impatient now, and I've grown up, believe it or not. But like now, my focus primarily now is probably towards more my clients, my business, etc. So impatience is always going to be there, but my impatience for my physique outcome has gone because I've learned to kind of bear with and do whatever. But people who start a journey, you know, if you see the memes where I've eaten a salad for a day and I've not got a 6-pack, like that was me. You know, I was continually chopping and changing because I wasn't seeing results fast enough. But it's a case of now, like I said, the mindset shifted. But I still find myself falling into poor habits and poor traits of wanting things faster now with the growth of. Do you think
that's a bad product, or do you think that's impatience, or do you think that's because you're driven? Like, do you see that as a bad? I'm getting like quite what do you call it? Psycho. I don't know.
Don't psychoanalyze me. You'll be here
not psychoanalyze. But like, do you know what I mean? Is that a bad thing? To be impatient, or is that a driving force of positivity to be like, I'm pushed, like I want it?
Do you know what? I can have this conversation with you again all day. I don't know how long we've got, Tom, but we've got, you know, it's a case of, because I think society now suggests that you have to be happy with yourself and you have to do this, and I think that's bullshit. I really do.
I think that's a good quality to have, the impatience of like.
I think, you know, it's the participation factor is bullshit. Turning up and playing part is not a thing. So it's wanting more and wanting things faster is actually, like I say, it's not a bad trait. It really isn't. Society deems it to be a bad trait, and I don't see it as a negative. It's just a very self-awareness that I. It's funny because I want, you know, I've got certain things that I want for the brand and the business and the team, and I want it all tomorrow. And it's like, fuck, if that's my physique, I wouldn't have that same mindset. You know, if I'm going to prep, say, for 20 weeks. I'm like, okay, I'm super comfortable, super happy because I've done it before. This is how long it's going to take. Can I drop 10 kilos in a day? No, I can't. But I expect that same sort of result within my business, which is crazy. And that's down to maybe immaturity of owning a business. But
maybe the excitement of it as well.
Excitement for sure, I just want things done now, and I'm a nightmare to be around at times because I think one thing's done yesterday. But I'm very, very self-aware and the fact that I know that if that was my physique kind of focus and goal, I'd be way more patient, I suppose. But it's not down to you're right, it's not a bad thing. I just
I get it with the acting. Sometimes I'm like, I'm here for the long game, and other times I'm like, why the fuck didn't I get that I want that now all the time. And I've got to, like, say, talk back and go, do you know what, still got 10, 20, 30, 40 years left in this game. Like, don't want to peak too soon, really. Don't want to have it all now, because it might turn into one of them that, you know, go off the rails.
But you know what I've found with that, again, if you don't get something, I'm bad for this. I think it's good to hit obstacles and bottlenecks and whatever and get rejected, because then it's an opportunity to, and this sounds like I'm being super cliche, but it's an opportunity to learn. Whereas in certain things, my physique and those kind of things, even with the business, if we've hit bad things, and it's like, okay, well, that's cool. Whereas before, I'd have probably gotten a moose and kicked off. And it's like, now I feel like, I'm going to use the term loosely, I'm mature, but I feel like I can understand the situation and learn from it and be like, okay, well, that hasn't worked. I do this all the time. I analyze everything. As boring as it sounds, it's exhausting me in my brain because I do analyze everything, but I'm lucky because it's a passion. I break down everything from data to the point where I look at my days. Why did I not perform as well when I'm not in the gym, etc., whatever. And I look back and I'm like, again, maybe I didn't have enough sleep or whatever. And then I start to work on the systems and processes to improve all those things. But one thing that we do is kind of, again, James Clear, I'm going to credit him a lot in the book.
But it's unbelievable, the book, really.
It's unbelievable.
It's really game changer.
Is the habits that we can kind of come, and this is another thing. I sound like I'm big on everything. I'm big on these things. I'm passionate about it. Is again with the understanding of the patients is the 1% margins that he talks about, the Dave Brailsford sort of stuff. It's unbelievable. But again, we talk about things being sexy. It's like, well, I went for a walk today. Well, I'm not ripped yet. That's boring. That's not exciting. Well, I stuck to my meals today. That's not. But if you compound those over a week or a month or a year, if you did your 10,000 steps every single day for 6 months, if you ate your meals every single day for 6 months, those 1% improvements compounded are what creates a physique. But unfortunately, again, selling consistency to someone is not a sexy feat. It's having this in 6 weeks, or again, society and social media produce and promote this, which is fine. But again, it creates this real.
I have my own personal example of that from the prep, which was, so obviously I had a step goal, and one way to get 1,000 steps in every day was in our theatre. Say the stage is like this because it's set up differently. In warm-up, so you do a physical and then a vocal warm-up. The vocal warm-up's 15 minutes. So I'd walk around the stage for 15 minutes, and I knew that got me 1,500 steps. And I did that every single warm-up for 10 weeks solid. And that equated to, well, what's 1,500 times 7? We'll do 1,000 times 7, 7,000.
Yeah, I do that all the time. Quick math.
And then, so that was 70,000 time. Well, say it was nearly probably 90,000 steps extra in 10 weeks from just walking. And people would take the mick while I was doing it in the show, like in warm up. All people would be funny and nice and like follow me around and be like, and people would be like, "Oh, you're doing steps? It's 50, not as if like it's not really a lot, or it doesn't mean 90,000 steps." Added that one single thing, I was like, that was a big part of the actual result. That one little percent, even maybe not even 1%, 0.5 for 15 minutes, but it was consistent. In that little bit.
So that small kind of habit that you created collectively alongside all the other little things was the difference. But people aren't interested. And do you know what? People are so quick to just dismiss that 1,500 steps. Well, I've done it for a week and it's not done anything. Okay. Yeah. They'll dismiss it because it's not big. It's not, like I say, I keep using the term sexy today, but it is. Yeah. It's not, and it's not at the time not deemed important or effective. So therefore, again, but imagine that with you sticking to your meals, and again, it's little things like that. It's looking for gaps in the market. And again, I'll go back to kind of, sorry, I'm talking a lot today. I'll let you talk in a minute. But
you're catching up a lot.
It's nice. It's nice. But I go back to, one thing I'm good at is creating gaps in the market. So again, when I first started off, when I was working in the gym, I was prepping for a show, I was starting to create and build an online business. There wasn't enough time in the day, I had to create time in the day. So therefore it is about kind of, people talk about park a little bit further away at Tesco. That gained 100, 500 steps, you have to be really tactful with your day. And this is why I'm probably so big on and passionate about analyzing the day and structuring the day. I try to eke out as much from a day that I possibly can. And I think, I want to use this is why you're the same as me. And again, I'm so mindful of saying things that I'm like, oh, I love my job and this is why, but it's true. I want to use the pain that I had in vain to be able to kind of give back and help others. So the mistakes that I made, and I wasted 4 or 5 years doing things wrong. And on reflection, it was a blessing because it's now given me the tools to be able to kind of provide to others to not have to make the same mistakes that I did over a long period of time. And that's kind of one big thing that I'm big on with what I do in the coaching that we give is I can save you the time that I spent, and again, and the pain and the the
stupidity. I remember being Holland Barrett getting the booties and all that. All of it, just like not even oolong tea thing, and that's going to get me shredded and all this. And
if I calculate the amount of money I spent on supplements and fat burners and stuff in my days, and it's funny, 'cause I think people will come to me and say, "Oh, should I take this?" And I'm quite dismissive of it. Like, it's like they don't know. I honestly would spend £30 per tub of fat burners or something that I've seen on the internet with some guy who had a six-pack. Thermo,
I remember taking stuff, sat down and like in a rehearsal and just being like, because it was the heat of it and stuff, I was like dying. I was like, oh, because I thought, I must be losing weight. It's working. I probably just have an anxiety attack with this heat. But I was bought it all, tried to do as much as possible, and it was all wrong. But like you say, so glad you did it.
on reflection, it's been a blessing. It's almost like the courses of all courses to kind of be able to kind of provide going forward. So I want to talk a little bit more about kind of where you're going now with work. Loving the stuff that you're doing, loving the stuff that's going out. You and Alice, which is so nice. And again, before I will stop talking, but again, having that someone there alongside you makes such a difference. I'm the same with Lauren. Like Lauren's so supportive. Like I am, like probably yourself, a bit nuts. And you know, she says to me, "Listen, you're in Georgeland again. I just love it. I'm super passionate about what I do." And you need someone there to pull you out sometimes, because I'm so self-absorbed with what I do. And it's funny because I've come away from, which I'll discuss in a minute, the sort of prep side of stuff, and I'm now throwing myself into the work side of stuff, but I'm very guilty of throwing myself into having that someone there to ground you, number one, but to support you is huge. I want to hear about your stuff, mate, because like my stuff's been going a while and I'm a bit boring.
I'm still a little baby. I was literally just come out of the womb. Can you say that stuff now? I don't know. But it was all from that prep. Well, we did a photo shoot together, and we were just, I don't know what it is about that. The beauty I found with prep is that it makes everything so much more like, you're so much more passionate and more proactive and ready to just like go, well, this, like, it's weird that when you get this in order, everything in order, this turns on so much more. Even when you are knackered and in the, like, not in the trenches, but when you're knackered and you're like, that's when actually the motivation and the inspiration to like set up this business came. It's weird. Like, it was like, yeah, this can happen. Yeah. And this was like really pushing it. And
do you not think the challenges that you face in a prep, and this is why I think everyone in the world should do some form of prep, because it's character building. And you know, again, back to a point that you made at the very start about, you know, you have to manage your time, you have no choice. I think the best thing that ever happened to me was in prep. You're 10 weeks out, you're 5 weeks out, you're tired, you're grumpy, you're hungry, you've got a sniffle. Tough shit. You know, the judges do not give a fuck what you felt like, what you are judged on the day of how you feel, so no one cares. And it's a sad and harsh reality, but tough. And I think that kind of has, I did shows for 6 years, so therefore that was ingrained and instilled in me. I've not had a sick day since, because no matter what I wake up to, I have to get on with it. You have no choice. And I think being put in a position where you have no choice is probably the most powerful position that you can be in. And unfortunately, like I say, these days, and I said to you, the sort of participation kind of turn up factor for me just does not wash. People are so quick to throw in the towel, and unfortunately sometimes it's not their fault, it's their upbringing or society. It's like, I was thrown in to do stuff that again, like you say, you're in the trenches and you're tired, you're grumpy and hungry, and at that point things still have to get done. You still have to prep your food, you still have to make up your tablets, you still have to do your cardio. And
I think the thing is with prep for a show is that it's probably the most vulnerable thing you can do, which is be topless in front of so many people, next to other people who are in great condition. I think that's why if you like, this does not put down any other sport or anything, like to think in your head, oh, right, all right, if I don't eat this meal, then you probably can perform in another sport, like a footballer, like you could probably get out of the bag and perform at a great level still. But if you don't hit that meal, or you go have extra meals or whatever with prep, it's like, it's the most vulnerable and exposing thing.
You haven't got a team to back you up, you haven't got anyone to back you up.
And everything tells the truth. Like, your body just tells the truth. There's no like hiding it, really. Like, you've seen it probably, I've heard you hear stories of like athletes that, you know, go out the night before, get pissed, and then they are unbelievable, but because they can do that. But if you do that with your body,
it shows,
and you're getting judged on the look of your body. It shows. Like, there's no way you can hide from it. It's the ultimate, like, lie detector. Well, not lie detector.
No, it is.
Yeah, lie detector. Like, so that's why I think a prep is so like character building, because you have to do it. Otherwise, you're gonna like be so like embarrassed if you didn't, or like.
Now go back to kind of your point, because we digress as always, is my fault. But like the strength and the character you build from a prep, you overcome challenges on a daily basis, hourly basis potentially. Will instill. And this, you know, it doesn't even have to be a prep for a show. It has to be a prep for relative to whatever your goal is. Because people say, look at me, is it all about shows? It's nothing about shows. It's a prep relative to your own situation, your own goal. But by you overcoming challenges on a daily basis, you build confidence and instill confidence in yourself due to the way that the byproduct of the prep and your physique looks. But I think now people get confidence from the challenges that they build and they instill. It kind of creates a calluses within their mind to be able to kind of overcome any challenge. And prep does one or two things. It creates a much more productive environment because you haven't got time. You have to be productive within your days, number one. So therefore your outlook on what you can get done works, but also the confidence and the belief that you have in yourself by overcoming challenges like you did now gave you the ability to identify yourself as someone who can take on the world. So now you can take on the potential business. If you'd have been at the start of the prep where you wouldn't have had that same sort of power that you put back on yourself to be able to, I have got no doubt that my business is going to do okay. It might go blunt tomorrow, but I don't care. But I am so confident in my ability to work. And again, it might go bust. If it goes bust tomorrow, that's fine. I'll do it again. I'll make it build up again. Because my ability, when I did shows and stuff, I didn't have an overly, I wasn't overly confident in my physique. I wouldn't say I'm genetically blessed, but I had complete confidence in my ability to work, and I was very, very proud and probably not the word I'm looking for, but confident in the fact that no one was going to work much harder than I did. And that's, everyone's easy to say that, but that's one thing I knew I was good at. And that's one thing I can take on board, and that's one thing that I've like transitioned into my work and my business. So again, I'll talk about, actually I've got a couple of questions for you in terms of prep. So you mentioned there like the vulnerability of a prep and standing on stage next to other people. Is that something that you're worried about, and then being better than you? What was your biggest fear going into the stage?
The biggest fear was not when I first. It was probably I think I was very lucky. The fact that my physique was all right because of the show I was doing. The show I'm doing, I have to be topless. So my physique was an all right place. And then when I signed up, I think the biggest thing I was scared of was going on that stage and feeling like I didn't fit in, feeling like I was out of my depth and didn't have the respect that I should have to give myself extra time or get someone to prep me through it. I didn't want to go in there, and because I've always loved and respected the sport, but to go on there and people think he hasn't because he's only done X, he looks like he hasn't tried. That was probably the biggest fear factor at the start. 100%.
It's crazy because again, without blowing smoke, like you looked unbelievable, and the fact that you prepped yourself, and I think it's important to prep yourself and throw yourself in.
Sometimes it's good to be an idiot so you don't realise these things to just be
the blessing. But it's true to me, and like you've thrown yourself in, and the amount of education. I think it's so important to be your own guinea pig. Like I'm so happy to fuck things up all the time because I can learn and pass that on.
That was the big thing we were saying. I kept saying to Alice.
I'm so confident again in my ability to work and bounce back from any situation. I'm not scared of fucking up because it's like, well, fuck up. Okay, well, I've actually then I'll take a lesson on board that I can pass on to someone else. And I'm happy to take on the chin because I don't get bogged down or beaten down by, like I said to you before, by failures and etc. You know, that's something that's been built into me, I think, from prepping, etc. And it's a real positive thing to have. And I think by, I spent 4 years on my own self-development on my own, and like I said, the best thing I ever did was obviously kind of reach out then and further my education. That's actually something I kind of made a point on yesterday, was the best thing that I ever did, probably for yourself because you obviously went to drama school, etc. The best thing I ever did was now to further invest in my education. That's all I want to spend my money on. It's crazy. So I think I put on a thing yesterday, it's like I literally spend 50% of what I earn on re-educating. I put it back into me, into, and that's, and it's again because
it's like LeBron James with his health. Some that thing that he spends like $1 million a year in his health, and he's like, but why wouldn't I not invest in me? Because I think Warren Buffett's quote is, the best investment you ever make is in yourself. And it's true. It's it's funny, I was trying to make a post yesterday which probably wasn't impactful enough. It's like, look at beers, fast food. You are literally investing into that you're putting into yourself, which is, I saw that post. I love the Stone Island.
You just like that? Lauren clocked onto that as well.
I
but it's true.
I know. And I know what it represented.
I'm sat here in my own clothes which cost nothing. I just, so for me, and again, listen, people are different, and I totally appreciate, but that brings no value to my life, having that badge on my, what does it bring to me? A heavy hole in my pocket. Honestly, I don't know. For someone that might mean the world to them, to walk through Strand Street in their Stone Island, and that might mean the absolute world to them. They think the bee's knees. But I'm just like, that brings me nothing. I'm not going to be a better person. I'm not going to be further. I've not developed a skill. I'm not going to be me spending. I don't know how much they are. I just could not justify it.
I think it goes to the back of that identity thing, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, what do you want to be identified as? Someone who wears Stone Island and has that, because that's what branding is, isn't it? Identity.
I suppose so. Yeah.
And then that's when I think you have to yourself, well, what, like, then that's your post. Like, what do you want to be identified as? Like, what do you want to invest to then become as a person?
100%. You
So
look at
like the Stone Island is deeper than we think.
Yeah. That post was obviously deeper than I thought. Yeah. I've been thinking of that in a long time for a while. But it's true. It's just that, I wanted to just kind of get out the importance of people to invest back in themselves. You know, it could
and you can keep doing it. That's the thing.
100%. I will forever continue to invest in myself as long as I can, whether that be in...
I went to drama school 10 years ago. I still go to acting lessons. I still go to singing lessons and stuff like that. Like, and I've not, I don't want to sound big-headed, but I've not stopped working as an actor for 10 years. No. Like, I've had a month that
also, respectfully, you're not the best in the world yet.
No, 100% not.
There's room for us all to improve.
But still, like, you can still invest, still go, still learn. 10 years later,
I think it's so important.
You go, oh, I've got this certificate that says I went to drama school, therefore I'm an actor.
Yeah.
Well...
I messaged Lauren the other day. I was like, "What's we saying for a house?" I was like, "Oh, Lauren, I've just invested in another course. How much?" Okay. It's not that she cares. She's cool. Yeah. She was like, I was like, because I'm bored. Is the wrong word, but I'm just like, I just want to learn. They know more than I do, and I want to know more from me. And then again, I can relay that knowledge on to other people. But I speak to people all the time, and it's your perceived value of things. And this is that was kind of the point of the post, was like, what is your perceived value of? You know, we speak to people all the time who. Again, this is not a plug for coaching. They deem, say, coaching too expensive, or they deem, like I pump back into my business, and I have a mentor that I work with who's been unbelievably, what's the word? Useful doesn't do enough justice, but for me and work, and it's opened my eyes to the world, and I'm continuously listening to, I probably sound really, but I'm listening to, I don't do anything but listen to books and podcasts because I'm just continually looking to, but these things, I would honestly pay, if anyone's out there trying to sell me an ebook or something, like I would pay. It doesn't matter. Like on a call to chat to someone about purchase and something, it doesn't matter. It's absolutely, I will pay thousands. Yeah. And I do. I pay tens of thousands on my education every single year. Yeah. So, but like you say, when it comes to spending £180 on a jumper, I couldn't fathom that behavior. Yeah. And it is just down to your perceived value, because that, again, so it's an Alex Hormozy kind of analogy or a story that he told. There was a girl who, I think she worked, we'll call Starbucks for now, plug Starbucks, for $15 an hour. She was American. And she was like, oh, how do I make more money or whatever? She had like £500. He was like, go and study to be a phlebotomist, I think was the one that he used. And therefore she can earn $25 an hour. So her income was, exponentially increased and improved by investing back into herself. So therefore, and people don't do that. It's sometimes short-sighted. It's like I pump out, say, money into my education to therefore allow me to kind of be better at my job, improve, but also with my physique. I've competed since 2000, almost nearly 10 years now, and I still have a coach above me because they are way more knowledgeable than I am, and I want to continue to learn, and it's something that I enjoy, and and again, they hold me accountable, and do you need that? Who knows? But it's just forever learning, which I think it's super, super key, and I think that's why it's so nice to see you now, being a coach, from a person, you definitely play yourself down. Well, did I do enough time? Yeah, you prep for 10 weeks, but mate, you prep for fucking years since, by accident. You've been working on the 1% for as long as you can. I'm sure you were probably walking around doing your vocal things by accident before that, so you're already one step ahead. And so don't do yourself a disjustice in terms of the time that you did, because you'd already done it. Time was already put in. Which is key. But I want to just kind of talk about kind of where are you at with like sort of shows and stuff, and what does the rest of this year look like? I'll talk about my little future.
So the rest of this year is just what is actually exciting now. So it's not about me. Not about me in a way, but it's about the business, about the people that we've got on board for how we've launched off. So we have launched off with basically a photo shoot challenge, because we thought if me and Alice can get ready in short amount of time, we can help people just have a little, not only just like I said, when we talked about goals, but something to set them up, something that they feel like that they've achieved something for the rest of the year, because by the end of the whole lot, it's going to be October, and then you get to like the winter months, Christmas and stuff like that, and people get even more like excuses, don't they, around that time.
I actually think it's like we are a month away or 2 months away from our start next year.
Yeah,
it gets to like,
really,
where we now, August, September. It gets to October, and it's like, we are 2 months away from people just writing off the rest of the year, which is super, super scary. So what you're doing is perfect, and I think,
and what is great as well is that we're trying to like get these people that we got on board to have this goal for the end of the year, have a little treat, but then also be able to, like birds, send them off on their way for the end of the year, and have the education and everything to enjoy the rest of the year as well. And if they stay on, that is great. But if not, then it feels so good, isn't it, to like help people better their lives. Like, honestly, mate, I'm coaching a lad in the show, and one of the best feelings I've had all year is that during the show, so part of the show, I'm topless. If I'm not on stage, no one's topless, and if I'm on for a certain part, then no one's topless. But I'm on stage at the same time, and I looked over, and this lad had his top off, and he looked great, and I was like, "Oh, Cal's got his top off." It came off, and I was like, "Mate, you look great." And he's like, "Well, yeah, I thought you don't, and like why not have someone?" And I just, at the spur of the moment, he took it off, and I was like, it made me so happy that someone felt confident enough to like show everything and be like that split second, be like, I'm going to show everything off in front of all these people, and that was like, I was like, I want more of that now, which is good.
Which is so nice to hear, and I think it gets to a point where actually it becomes more fulfilling to actually help other people. It's funny because everyone's like, "Oh, thank you so much for helping me." And it's like, listen, that was completely selfless.
It is, and
selfish.
Because I sit next to him in the room, he does that. He's like, "I'm like so grateful for all this help and stuff." I was like, you actually don't realize how much of a buzz you get for someone like seeing them do little changes in front of you in the dressing room, seeing you like do that big thing of like being topless, seeing you go, all right, so that like looking at like little things like macros and how to use them, or why you're having that instead, or being like, well, actually, I'm not going to go out tonight because I want to get a good gym session in. Not saying you have to then live the lifestyle 100%, but just being more positive in a way that's going to help you in the long run. Like, he'll still go out and have a good time, but just now and again, he'll go like, nah, I want to have a good gym session instead of the hangover. And they'll go, it's so good to see.
But it's funny because people then deem coaching as like a selfless job, and it's probably the most selfish job because I get so much fulfillment out of the clients' journeys that we have that I love it, and the buzz for it's there. And again, it's, there's nothing more rewarding, like you say, than seeing something like that, and you've given him the gift of that confidence, which is crazy. And and that's again not for me to blow smoke, but you've provided the kind of the tools, the education, and the knowledge for him to get to where he is, to now be the person. Because the reason I got into coaching when I first started was obviously, me from young. I was heavily overweight growing up, which was fine. Got myself into a position, lost a lot of weight, became more comfortable, confident in my physique, and I thought, that was the best thing that I've ever done in my life for me. And if I can provide that gift to other people, then amazing. And I think for someone like yourself, what I want to know more is like, obviously you've set up the coaching business now, which is amazing. It looks to be going incredibly well. But what you can provide is obviously the tools, the knowledge, the education, which is nice. And one thing that I love is, I always say to my guys, and it's funny, they probably think, 1 minute into the conversation, I'm like, listen, I'm thinking about life after being with Team DW. I'm like, I haven't even signed up yet. It's like, well, that's what I want. So I want to instill you with I want to get you into the shape of your life, but my biggest goal now is keeping you there. So therefore the tools, the knowledge, and the education, the systems and the process that we build is incredibly important to me, because again, myself, I yo-yo dieted for years, as you know. I also, when I first started my coaching with my clients, I feel incredibly responsible and guilty for my initial kind of clients that I got into photo shoot shape. I'd say thank you very much, see you later. I'd see them in 6 months time, and I'm like, fuck, what's happened? I feel responsible for that. Exactly. I didn't give them the support that they needed. I was immature to the job. I was new. I was naive. I got them into the shape. This was great. And then afterwards, I was like, and I felt incredibly guilty for that.
It is a process, like you were saying before. You have to see that and experience that and make that mistake to then not do it again.
I spend more time now with them post-shoot, post-show, whatever, to ensure that they're okay. Because I've seen the negative rebound effects on myself, on others, and like you say, so that's why now we're actually driving more of an educational sort of project. I personally don't coach with as many people as I used to, because my job's roles changed now. I'm spending more time trying to provide, again, people see it on social media. I want to say this is free value. How valuable is it? I don't know. It's a chat conversation, but I want to give as much back now through education and help. And again, like I say, just make up from the things that I did wrong, and use that as a tool and opportunity to kind of give back to others. But what's nice in your instance is that you said you're reaching out to more people within your industry, so that you are the absolute prime person to give that advice, because you've been there, you've done it. And again, if you can give that to people, again, probably in your industry who've within their jobs, and their belief or how they identify themselves is, I can't do that because I'm an actor and I'm busy. So one thing I always say to people, and I will let you talk. So one thing that I say to people when it comes to not wanting to start anything because they're busy, I'm like, okay, well then every time you become busy, you're going to associate that with a time that you can't be in shape. So actually now's the time to start when you're at your busiest, because therefore when you become busy again in life, that you know that you can tackle this because you're comfortable and confident in how you then approach being busy and staying in shape. But you not find quite frequently with some of you guys, I can't do that, I'm in a show and I'm busy. So therefore you are the
and I think the hindrance is that because of the timeline and stuff, like we've got unsociable hours. You know, we start work at 6, we finish at 11. People get home at 1. They want to eat at 2 and stuff like that. I was like, well, you can make them choices, or you can. There's always a way around it. There's always a solution to a problem. There's always something that you can do to make it not that.
And now you have anecdotal experience again. The perfect thing that you could have done was run the prep yourself, and now you and Alice, who both keep yourself in incredible shape and live within the industry and work within the industry, you are living, walking proof that it can be done.
And that's it. The thing to go, like, don't worry, I've been there. Like, the struggles that you think are ahead, they are, but we know how to tackle them.
100%. But do you not find, and this, I think, for myself again, I've been heavier, I've been through the obstacles of my journey, probably similar to yours. One thing that, again, the beauty of what we have is that I can provide empathy to people because I've been in that situation. Every situation they've been in, whether they've felt new into the gym and anxious about the gym, uncomfortable in their clothes, uncomfortable nights out. I've left nights out because I felt so uncomfortable. We've been picked on, whatever it may be. I've been there, so I can totally relate to every single situation. But on the flip side, I say to every single one of them, but I will call bullshit quite quickly when you're making excuses. I've got up at 3:30 for the last 6 years of my life because I didn't want to be that person that I was. So therefore, if you're that unhappy with how you are and that unhappy with how you feel, you can fucking do something about it. It's true. But I think like people respect that, and I think you in your industry, people will respect the fact that you've been there, you've done it, you've experienced it, you've also managed to kind of get a way out of it. So therefore, I think you'll be the same now with yours. I have that relationship with my clients that, again, I'm so empathetic to any situation, but I'll also quite quickly be able to call bullshit if it's excuses and lies. You know, we've all been there. And I think that for you and for Alice, it's going to be so exciting to be able to bring something to the industry where you guys live and breathe it daily. Again, to the point where, touchwood, bar injuries, that you by accidentally can stay in shape because you spent the last 10 years of your life, you've been in shape for as long as I've known you. I know maybe not show shape, etc., but you've been in shape, been mindful, been conscious. You spent the last 10 years of your life investing into yourself to now provide the education to others of what, you know. There's going to be guys coming into drama school who are, fortunately, your industry, similar to mine. So that's another point.
It's vanity.
It is, you know, and I think, you know, people will reach out to you because you are in shape. Is that right? Is that wrong? Well, you're a product of your own being, and I think that's important within the industry. Unfortunately, the industry is vain, and it's not the word I'm looking for, but it is, and it's a case of, you know, I can look at you and go, I'll tell you what, he lives, and this is, people get upset about this. If you don't look the part, you are your own advert, effectively. I wouldn't go to a dentist with poor teeth. I would not go to a hairdresser with poor hair, because it's how you then model yourself and how you act within. So the fact that you guys both do that is super exciting for you to be able to, again, obviously the business will grow, which is cool, but probably similar to myself, is not the reason you do it. You can give back and you can help so many people in that realm. And yeah, like I say, I just want to hear more about, I just love business stuff, to be honest, and just seeing you help and grow people. Some more about what you and Alice, like I say, have got going on, which is cool. So how's the launch been?
Really good, really fun. It's really exciting setting it up, and we've got a great bunch on board. What's nice is as well that, and it's actually surprising, is we had a few people actually good that go, I don't want the photo shoot, but I want the education, and I want to just be on board and just better myself in that way, which was really nice to see. Not saying that like that's everyone should have a goal or that thing, but it's nice to see that as well, that people are noticing the little nuggets of information, the little bits of, and what I've found as well is that people don't, what we know, people don't know, like what we take for granted of knowing, people are like, wow, oh wow. And because sometimes, like, I don't know how you were at the start or now, but sometimes I'll post on social media. The more I post, the more I go, I get like more anxiety of being like, oh, people going, oh, he's annoying, he's pissing me off, shut up with his stupid accent, like people like, and you just go like what, and then you get the odd message of, look, mate, I never knew that, great, thank you so much, and you're like, oh, do you know what? I don't care if 100 people think I'm annoying and I've had enough of him. If that one person is getting, it's so worth it. So we're just gonna keep going. I mean, Alice has got something like great planned that she's gonna have for our clients, that is like, she's put so much work, and I don't want to say it yet because I don't know if she wants to announce it.
No, that's cool.
I'll tell you after. It's unbelievable what she's got going. But yeah, mate, we're just gonna keep going. I think we got little things that we're trying to tick off at the moment, but I think right now our concentrating is, it's nice just to concentrate on this little section, like this little, like, feels like a plant, like we're just slowly watering it, getting sun and stuff, and just seeing it sprouting and just getting ready to let it sprout slowly. But because luckily we're both in acting jobs, we're not like, desperate for it to like kick off and like everyone be on board and take on like 100 people. Were like, no, we can take it slowly. We've both got our careers right now that we can concentrate on this, but not feel like it's got to be rushed or anything, which is great. But then hopefully next year it'll build and build and build, and just see where it goes from there. To be honest, I want to take over London with it.
Yeah, it's good, mate. But it's nice because you guys aren't like under like pressure for it to grow. It's purely passion driven.
I feel
which
like
you can see within your content
to build the foundations nice and securely,
100%.
so it doesn't fall over. That's what it feels like.
That's an analogy I'll use all the time, whether it be with someone's fitness journey, whatever it be. Like, it's all about building the foundations. Because again, there's it is purely about building the foundations. And like you say, once you can build up from there, the foundations are weak, it's going to crack, it's going to break.
Yeah.
And there's other things that we look at, in terms of, fortunately, again, any sort of fitness goal or journey, if it's laid on good foundations, it's going to grow and it's going to sprout, and the trajectory of it is going to be strong consistently throughout. And again, I talk to people about it all the time. It's about you've probably heard me say this a million times, you can only control the controllable. I use that all the time. But again, when people are jumping onto scale weight, for example, this is one thing that I like to kind of talk to people about. It's like, so you're relying solely on your scale weight, which is something that can fluctuate heavily, inconsistency. So cool. What does that do? That then drives an emotion. Yeah. What's more vulnerable than scale weight? Emotions are incredibly vulnerable, incredibly inconsistent. And what does that do? Then that drives motivation or lack of. What's another thing which is incredibly inconsistent? And again, all these three things are so out of our control, but yet we seem to throw all our eggs into here and expect that to get the work done. So the foundation is absolutely key, which is great. And like I said, I'm excited for you both. I've met Alice for 0.0 seconds, and do you know what, mate? She's fucking too good for you.
She really is,
which
honestly.
is nice.
Yeah.
But again, just like what you say to me and what is the support's there, I think should be quite quick to ground you as well, which we all need. Which is key. And again, I'm happy to and excited to see the back end of the year for you both, and you and work, and man. And I'll kind of just delve into a little bit about what my back end of the year looks like and is going to happen.
Take over the world, probably, for you.
Well, listen, I'm trying. So for me personally, my own personal journey's come to a brief end in terms of my competitive career, which is cool. So I'm currently working through like a health phase, trying to lose a bit of weight. I was kind of, I always promised Lauren when I'd finished competing that I'd step away and lose the weight that I have. Obviously, you see me, I'm 10 kilos down to what I was, but it's also good because it puts me in a position to be able to educate others in similar situations. I'm now able to walk more than sort of 100 meters with Lauren and not have to stop and catch my breath. But it's nice because what it does, so we're getting older, we're maturing. It's allowed me to now throw the energy that I had once for competing. And listen, that doesn't mean I'm still, I'm as anal as ever as you can imagine with my food. I don't miss beats. And this is the point I want to go on. And that's back to our goals. It's like my goal has now been removed to competing, but I do not miss a beat when it comes to living my day because I'm so obsessed with the systems and the processes that are within here. This is my goal. It's how much can I kind of rev up this engine, rev up this machine. So therefore I want to be the most efficient non-competitor in the world. Because again, as a byproduct of me staying in shape and being efficient and productive with my meals and my timings and my everything else, the rest of my day is complemented. When I am on point with my steps, my cardio, my meals, my training, that takes such a huge stress out of my day. So therefore I can put all my energy into it. And this running efficiently, my body runs more efficiently. I'm a better person to be around. I'm better at my job and better at my relationships. And again, this is something that you can't really sell to someone at the start of any kind of fitness journey or tell them is how much it complements all other aspects of life until you've been in it and you've seen it. I've seen a difference in you this year, and now the business has arisen from just what started off with a prep that you were going to do on your own.
And it really does. It's so weird that just like you say, being on track with your food, your training, your steps, everything, your sleep, your recovery, them aspects, I don't know why it shifts so much to everything else being so much more like just positive in life. It's crazy. And proactive. And then, because I even know, I can be honest, I even noticed the week after, because obviously I did the comp, and then the week after I was off the show. And I think I was like, I'll be off the show to rest, recover and stuff. But then everything fell apart for that week, and it was really bad. And I was like, I had the freedom to eat what I want, and it wasn't great. But then I felt like everything else was like slowly crumbling and slowly like Jenga, like the pieces were coming out very fast. And that's when I was like, actually, luckily, I'm happy that happened, because then I was like, for the business, when people have finished their goal, they do need that guy, like you said, with the guidance and stuff. Because I'm going off on a tangent, but it's that thing of when that's sorted, everything else seems to get in place. But when it doesn't, it really does. Your life isn't as good.
100%. So like my first show, and then again, you learn from it. My first show, I gained 3 stone. My second show, I gained 2 stone, so I was getting better. My third show, I gained a stone.
Yeah.
And again, because I just let everything that I'd kind of worked so hard on for 16, 20 weeks just fall apart because the goal was removed. And that's where now on reflection and in retrospect, I regret that. And that's something that I've learned and I'm able to kind of give to others, that the goal is not the be all and end all. And it's not the thing that we have to be purely emotionally and driven to and married with. It's the everything afterwards. And again, now every single time I have to prep, I mean, Lauren's way more fresh into it than I am, but I just... all the good habits that I build and instill, because prep is like an opportunity to kind of just create this productivity kind of machine and engine and everything. You're looking for wins, you're looking to build this up, and you're so efficient towards the back end of prep. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. So when I finish my show, I do not miss a beat. I keep everything in place that got me to where I want to be. Again, it's like, it's what got me to where I wanted to be. They're the things that I hold on to, and they're the things that I work on. Again, the goal's been removed, but I'm still moving, I'm still revving up the machine. And things obviously at times do dip because things are different, but listen, I couldn't agree more, but I feel like we've waffled on.
Yeah, so I waffled on. You were telling us the back end of your year after your...
Back in the year. So listen, I'm taking a step away from, I haven't really spoken to you, to be honest. We're doing it now, live on now. Taking a step away back from competitive bodybuilding, which is cool. So currently just trying to lose a lot of weight. I've lost about 10 kilos down just by doing all the things that that you do. And again, hopefully another position, an opportunity for me to be able to kind of give back and teach others, but it's also given me that time and energy back to kind of put into work, which is nice. I mean, my back end of the year goals are to continue to drive and grow Team JW for no other reason than I love it. I'm so passionate about what we do, to further educate. Again, more so now I can spend more time providing value to everyone, as much value as I can. And I've got a few things like kind of laid up in the pipeline, which is going to go above and beyond to kind of help with that. I mean, we've got like, we're going heavy into our educational library at the moment, which is cool, but that's not the big thing. We've got a big back end of the year, which I'm super excited to kind of, and again, I'll keep that to myself for now, but it's going to allow others to kind of have a true insight to me and really learn firsthand what it's like to kind of take the next step in terms of the physique goal, which is super exciting. And I'm sure when we catch up.
You smashed it though with like thing, you've got 2 pro.
We've had a good year.
Yeah,
we've had a good year. But again, do you know what? I'm not going to sit here and just like make out I'm Gandhi, but it's I just love it. It's true. It's we've had an exceptional year. So we've got 2 guys turn pro.
You're going to become the Alex Ferguson of
I don't know. I just love doing it.
I'm not a United fan, by the way.
That's all right. It's but no, we're lucky. We're very lucky, and we've got a good team around us, and we're growing together. And again, it's the family we're trying to build, and it is purely built off passion and values. And it's exciting, man. It's an exciting ship to be on, and it's forever growing, which is great.
And
so,
do you think of next year as well? Right now,
oh man, I think of.
Are you a 5-year planner, 10-year planner?
I've got big goals, yeah. I've got big things that I want to that are going to come, and that. Well, but listen again, back to my sort of understanding of the process, that one thing leads on to another, and I want to be to where I want to be. It creates urgency with what I'm doing now. So I've got goals that I will achieve, and it's kind of just working hard to get there now, which is cool. Listen, mate, it's like literally this was couple of things. We literally we revert back to the best of friends. We haven't seen each other for 6 to 8 months. This is literally us catching up, and then I want to say this is the type of conversation that we normally have. There's probably a little bit more less PG stuff in there off camera, which is fine. But it's been a pleasure to catch up. I'm really grateful for you coming on. Lastly, this is going to be kind of going forward forever. It's probably going to be a little less formal than this going forward, which is cool. We just kind of want to catch up properly. I want to see what Perry's up to, what I'm up to. But we're going to kind of just catch up more, so that they will be more open to the kind of Q&As, questions, etc. But we're also, if anyone's still listening this far in,
they will be. We're
looking for a name. So we literally have no name to this. We had one previously, which I think is outdated. So we're not going to use it.
Should we say what it was?
Do you know what? Go on. I've got another one that Lauren told me off for that I wasn't allowed to use, but carry on.
Well, we were the Bro Show for a slight time in a lockdown when it was on Insta.
What's lockdown?
It was lockdown 3 years ago.
Scary. And then I wanted to use 2 P's in a pod. Perry's name is POD, which Lauren quickly shut down. But listen, we're looking for a name. So if anyone's got any ideas or thoughts, comment below. Also, with regards to what we're doing, please like, share, and subscribe. We're just a couple of lads just trying to chat and provide as much value as you can. And then lastly, if you do have any questions that you want us to kind of use on the next show, drop it below. So listen, I'm incredibly grateful for you to be here. I'm incredibly grateful for you guys to listen and watch. And thank you all, and we'll see you very soon.
Yeah, this isn't the end.